jet-lagged and restless, I was scrolling through my phone in the hotel suite when a bizarre post on some fringe message board caught my eye. Billionaire bloodbath. An inside look at the Westwood murder. On July 30, 2025, at 10:30 p.m., the sole heiress to the Westwood Corporation, on a business trip in Chicago, was brutally decapitated. Her head was discovered in the suite's mini fridge. The killer, the late CEO's secret illegitimate son, who gained access by posing as a food delivery driver. I felt a flicker of unease. I'm the sole heiress to the Westwood Corporation. I am, in fact, on a business trip in Chicago, but my father didn't have a secret son. Besides, it's July 30th right now, but the clock on my phone reads 10 p.m. The post was timestamped for a murder that was supposed to happen in 30 minutes. How could a news alert from the future pop up on my feed? I dismissed it as a sick prank by some bored internet troll. Then, a wave of thirst hit me. I walked over to the mini fridge to grab a bottle of water. As the small door swung open, I froze. The interior of the fridge, the precise arrangement of miniature liquor bottles, the brand of sparkling water, the single can of Coke Zero, was identical to the one in the crime scene photo from the post, and the spot where the photo had shown a severed head, nestled between the gin and the Perrier, was conspicuously, perfectly empty. Just then, the doorbell chimed. A man's voice called out, muffled by the heavy door. Food delivery. My heart hammered against my ribs. My first instinct wasn't the door, it was the phone. I hit the speed dial for my security detail. Forget the fact I haven't ordered takeout in years. When I travel, I book the penthouse suite precisely for the quiet, the isolation. All my meals are handled by the hotel's private kitchen. Even if, by some bizarre circumstance, a delivery was made, a hotel staff member would bring it up. A delivery driver would never, ever be allowed on this floor. The post flashed in my mind. It was insane, utterly unbelievable, but every detail, the person, the place, the timing, was lining up with a terrifying precision. Was this some kind of death prophecy? My silence was making the person outside impatient. The knocking became louder, more insistent, the flat of a hand now, slapping against the wood. Bang, bang, bang. Hello, delivery, you need to come get your food. The voice was rough, gravelly, it sounded like a man in his 50s. I remembered the post described the killer as the CEO's son. A small, irrational wave of relief washed over me. The man outside sounded nearly as old as my father. He couldn't possibly be his son. My security detail was quartered in a standard suite a few floors below. It would only take them a minute or two to get here. Thinking of them, my coiled nerves began to loosen. The relentless pounding on the door continued, and a morbid curiosity began to bubble up inside me. I tiptoed across the plush carpet, my movements silent, until I reached the heavy, soundproofed door. The second I got close, the knocking stopped. The silence on the other side was absolute. I held my breath, pressing my eye carefully to the peephole. The hallway was empty, a long, vacant corridor under the warm glow of the sconces, and then, bam, bam, two explosive blows struck the door, so loud and close I felt the vibration through the floor. At the same time, a face shot up from below, instantly filling the entire fisheye lens of the peephole. It was a wrinkled, bloated face, the skin slick with a greasy sheen, a heavy double chin spilled over the collar of a cheap delivery uniform. A pair of murky, bloodshot eyes stared directly into mine through the peephole. His lips peeled back slowly, mechanically, stretching into a grotesque, impossibly wide grin. Bam, two more thunderous impacts. He knew I was right there. It felt like he was trying to smash through the door with the heel of his palm. The sound was so immediate, so violent, that I stumbled backward, my heart seizing in my chest as I nearly fell to the floor. Just as I braced for another assault, the tone from outside shifted entirely. The brutal pounding ceased, replaced by a voice that was intentionally low and soft, a stark, terrifying contrast to the earlier violence. Hello, your delivery. I'll just leave it here at the door for you. Okay. I heard the scuff of shoes. Tap, 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 tap. The footsteps receded down the hallway, fading into silence. He just left. Moments later, a different set of footsteps approached, heavy, purposeful. My security team had arrived. I saw them through the peephole, a line of imposing men in dark suits, their presence a fortress of security. I finally let out a long, shuddering breath, but the relief was quickly consumed by anger. The penthouse suite of a five-star hotel, and the security was this pathetic. They let any lunatic wander these halls. I stormed back into the living area and dialed the front desk, my voice sharp with accusation. The manager's response, after a moment of checking, was laced with confusion. Ma'am, first, please accept my sincerest apologies for your disturbing experience. However, we've reviewed all security footage for the half hour surrounding your call, every elevator to the penthouse level, every service corridor, every fire escape. There is no record of anyone in a delivery uniform entering the penthouse floor. The elevator logs only show your security team's arrival. The hallway cameras show no one suspicious going up or down. The manager paused, and when he spoke again, his voice held a barely perceptible tremor. And ma'am, we also have no footage of the deliverman you described ever leaving. Boom. An icy chill shot up from the soles of my feet and exploded in my skull. Not on the cameras. He never came up, and he never went down. It could only mean one thing. The deliverman had been hiding on this floor the entire time. A deep, primal unease settled in my gut. Without a second thought, I texted my head of security to call the police. I glanced at the team of men now stationed outside my door. I'd handpicked them myself. Each one was a decorated martial artist, a professional in close quarters combat. At least until the police arrived, I was safe. I let my shoulders slump, just a little. The ordeal had left a sheen of cold sweat on my skin. I went back into the bathroom to splash water on my face and change. When I came out, I sank onto the sofa to wait for the police. I unconsciously unlocked my phone, and there it was again, that same damned post, sitting at the very top of my feed. This time, I didn't dismiss it as a prank. I started reading it, word by word, my focus absolute, and then I saw the publication date on the post, and the air left my lungs. July 30th, 2035, 10:45 p.m. 10 years in the future. How is that possible? I frantically backed out of the post and scrolled through the rest of my feed. Every other article, every other meme, every other picture was dated today, but when I clicked back on the strange post and refreshed the page, the date remained unchanged. 2035. This post, published 10 years from tonight, was analyzing a murder that was set to happen at 10:30 p.m. My Murder. I forced myself to read to the end. The Post claimed the case went unsolved for a decade. For 10 years, no one knew the heiress had been killed by her father's secret son. In that time, the son had inherited the family business, liquidated every asset, sold off the company for parts, and vanished overseas with the fortune. The police never found him, and the original heiress's mother, my mother, was committed to a psychiatric hospital by the illegitimate son, under the pretense of mental instability following the loss of her only child. She died by suicide 6 months later. A powerful, sickening sense of dread rose in my throat. I scrolled down to the comments. My heart seized when I saw the highest rated replies. Post is wrong. The son didn't kill her disguised as a delivery driver. He hired the driver. The police figured it out years later. It was a classic misdirection, happy face right. We're talking about the Westwood heiress, penthouse suite, private security detail. No way a single delivery guy could get to her, exactly. The real killer was already inside the suite, inside the suite, inside the suite. Those 3 words drained every ounce of strength and warmth from my body. A coldness, more profound than any I had ever known, clawed its way through me, soaking my silk pajamas in sweat. My eyes, acting on their own primal instinct, darted to the top right corner of my phone screen. 10:29 p.m. The Post said the murder happened at 10:30 p.m. The thought had barely registered, my mind too slow to process, too paralyzed to react. Thump. A dull, heavy impact exploded from the back of my head. A hot, sticky liquid, thick with the metallic tang of rust, erupted from the wound, blurring my vision. As it streamed down my face and neck, then came the feeling of a sharp, serrated blade drawing across my throat. With the last shred of my consciousness, I fought to turn my head, to see the face of the person behind me, but a hand, strong as an iron clamp, was already pressing my head down, another covering my mouth and nose, silencing me forever. So the Post was real, and the person in the Post was me. I collapsed into a spreading pool of my own blood, as a million protests screamed in my mind. A helpless darkness pulled me under, and my eyes slid shut. When I opened my eyes, I was lying in the hotel bed, completely unharmed. A phantom pain still throbbed at the base of my skull and tingled across my neck, but when I reached up to touch the skin, there was no stickiness, no blood. My gaze fell to the phone clutched in my hand. The screen was on, displaying that same cursed post. The headline was identical, billionaire bloodbath. An inside look at the Westwood murder. The time displayed on the screen was 10:00 p.m. I was back. I had been